villain, Phoenix in the building. uh, you got to play the villain sometimes, whatever, whatever. But that's transformation all day long. Tonight, really special because we're welcoming in the white wind wave spell in the Mayan calendar for the next 13 days. This element of the white wind is about breath, spirit, communication, and pretty much the input, what goes in, what comes out kind of thing, is set to really guide us on this next part of the journey. And concurrently, and not by coincidence, Jupiter, the planet of expansion and higher learning blessings, Sagittarius, is entering chatty, witty, childlike, talkative Gemini. So we have a double dose from two perspectives about how at this time, uh, but it's really going to start to have conversations, and not just any kind of conversations. We're going to have expanded conversations, especially for these next 13 days, and as Jupiter gets settled in. Welcome on in, Queenie. Um, it's going to be a time, and it started already. A lot of this is because the stage is already set, and the last wave spell was about purification and cleansing, but that red moon wave spell was really about getting back to the root chakra. In the background here is my mom, about three Christmases, you know what I mean? And we were really kind of at odds at that time. And for some reason, I'm cleaning out during that wave spell of the red moon, which she happens to be, which is my hidden helper, right? So I pull it out and bang, and it's like right time because I had just added on to transformative tarot with the Who-kah lounge. That's WHO, and that ka being the spirit or the breath. Was just right on time. And then we got Battle Trap, who for me, as a transformer, represents the sign of Pluto, or the planet Pluto, especially that wrecking ball, because that's what's really happening. We're going to see a lot of conversations where walls are being torn down. We're going to see the rebuilding of relationships, because that was a big part of the cleaning out. And the red moon was so significant because it took us back to the root chakra, or the mother energy. It was about really getting back in touch with that matriarch energy. This is about the inheritance of gifts from that side, but the Akashic records, the memory, the waters, really going back to go forward. The reflection was unreal, people who really took the time. And this is what kind of set the stage for this wave spell. This wave spell is when we really start to advocate all that we've learned about ourselves and where we stand now. Um, just a couple while I shuffle. I had a conversation with somebody from pretty much my recent past. Good brother, you know what I mean? He really helped me out in a time where I needed it. But things have changed, and I could see why the universe had that be temporary because of where he was in his journey. But this is the time, because this conversation forced me to speak up for myself and put some boundaries during the conversation. We're not gonna wait, because he proceeded to try to unload and dump on me all his problems and issues when I had clearly given him 2 to 3 solutions in a matter of seconds. You know what I'm saying? Being in those situations, but he continued to persist, which let me know that I wasn't going to change. This is something that all have to walk through and come to those conclusions by ourselves, and then make those decisions. There's nothing, anything, anybody outside of us can really do to against us or move us. It's not to say we can't take great advice and work through it, but in certain situations, we got to draw the line, because um, we don't have much time down here to be playing around. You know what I mean? Messing around with jokers, or at the very least, you want other people's burdens and responsibilities. So this is one part of it. You know what I'm saying? Welcome on in, Lisa. Beautiful day or evening to you, wherever you are, to whoever comes in, whether during the live or later on. But the quality of speech is going to be profound. And Jupiter is actually going to warm up the sign of Gemini for a year. And what I mean warm it up, Uranus is going to be entering Gemini next year. So this is like setting the stage for even more shocking revelations. You know what I mean? You thought cat waves and Jaguar was the end all be all. That was just a jump off. That was just how the energy is showing up because these are slower moving planets. So their transition is a lot longer and it's a little bit more subtle until it really starts to hit home and settle in. So we already talked about the Uranus aspect in Taurus and what that's doing. That will reach a critical degree before it switches, which is the last degrees of a sign. And when that happens, we might see something a little bit more destructive than just a tower getting struck by lightning. Just a heads up. We are on a living planet. I don't know. I guess people just kind of really forget the fact that we are living on a conscious being, very much so like your hairs and your cells and your skin. You know what I'm saying? Adorn your ass. And as she's cleaning out, we have to clean out. You know what I'm saying? And that was a big, big part of this last wave spell of the red moon of that purification. Um, Coming through to help clear the signatures, not just the signatures that we're experiencing in the present time, but all the signatures that reside over areas in it. I gave a couple examples like Lake, um, Black Wall Street, you know, saying the Trail of Tears, any place, and even currently Palestine, places that are having this energy signature of just grief and terror, and this stuff leaves energetic signatures on it. It's very much like a bruise on your arm. You know what I'm saying? And what are you going to do? Well, you're going to treat it, and that's the same thing with this lightning strike and all these other events. You know what I'm saying? Going on around the world. Um, Paid attention to social media all you want, but you better be paying attention to what nature's doing right about now because we really want to start following suit. And right on top of my man Pluto, we got death, the transformation. You know what I'm saying? It's no joke because all the energies that are being cast upon the planet, the planet's energy itself, like we're all going to get touched by it. And the way it affects us really is about how in tune we are with, you know what I'm saying, one way or another. It's no different than us blowing our nose, you know what I'm saying? The shit that ain't part of the system, it comes out. And we will be seeing a lot of this in different ways, not just the spiritual sense, but in the physical sense as well. So it's just one of them things to keep in mind, you know. And if you're experiencing that kind of energy, condolences, of course, but also realize that is nowhere near the end of that relationship. It just transforms. Okay. Um, Fear not. These changes are what's going to set the tone moving forward. Look at this, the world card all across the planet. I don't care where you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how little money you got. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're single, whether you're married, you got kids or not, none of that really matters because we're all in the same boat. So we need to stop looking at things as separate. You understand what I'm saying? This is about being a collective and really realizing how much independent thoughts and actions have an effect on that and the people around us. The world card is here is also is about coming back together in their natural, um, or at least finding the correlation between things. You know, the law of correspondence is very much important. So this is the illusion of separation. Pluto starts this ball that's in the collective energy of Aquarius right now. And let's not forget about Big Daddy Saturn doing the damn thing in pipe, clearing the illusions and really giving us a firm foundation for our spiritual practices moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it really depends on where you're at, especially in the heart space. So let's talk about it. That heart space is really big, and leading with because I had a conversation today and yesterday about intelligence. And when you see any word that starts with in, that's where it begins. Intel. What is your heart telling you to do right now? You know what I mean? Intelligence is not something that's linked to logic in the brain like we've been led to believe. The true intelligence lies in the heart space. You know what I'm saying? How you feel about things right about now is everything. Let's see what we got next card out. The white mirror. Absolutely. Seeing the divine in not only ourselves but everything around us. These fragmented pieces are also what the world card is talking about, becoming whole again. You know, with Gemini here so prominently with the white wind, this is about the language, the love language, and you gotta really be mindful of your words with Jupiter here, because one way or the other, it's going to expand. So you can really escalate or de-escalate a situation. You can really heal a situation, or you can really turn it to ashes and dust. You know what I mean? The power is in the tongue. In the beginning, the word was with God, kind of thing. You feel me? But also, this is having a deeper look at oneself, seeing all of the aspects. Gemini, in a detriment, speaks of schizophrenia and fragmentation. You know what I mean? If you're an avid astrologer or tarot, let's just say a junkie, you know, you love the craft and all that. You know, we have a lot of people who are giving readings based on signs, and for the people who are coming in who are brand new, like you gotta, if you really want to get the full Monty and you have a reader who does 12 signs, you gotta watch all 12. And that comes from knowing your chart and where all 12 of those signs are so you can get a bigger picture instead of being so keyed in on the big three, you know? So it's one of those things I really learned, because to know yourself right now is really the saving grace. This will guide you to how you really fit into the collective. You know what I'm saying? Your purpose, what you're here to do. Um, the white wind. I'm find it real quick. Let me go through the deck so we can have a visual to look at as well. Um, it's the second archetype out of 20. So this talks about speaking things into existence, and with the aid of the last wave spell, now that we realize what needs to be nurtured, now we can start to speak life into our manifestations and to each other, you know what I'm saying, to ourselves. Really putting the word out there. And with the expansion of Jupiter, this is going to be one of those times where our communication with and our relationship around is really going to expand. The way our guides connect with us is going to expand. That talk that you have with the divine is going to expand. The self-talk, the people around you, loved ones, friends, foes, enemies, is going to expand. We are going to really get to the nitty gritty. This is really clearing the air, because the last wave spell, you know, it's a cumulative effect. You don't look at those as separate either. Each one is working in unison with the one prior and the one coming in. You know what I'm saying? To help us uh, respect the process of what it means to manifest down here, right? So let's get a couple on this white wind and see what the cosmic tea is. You know what I'm saying? But the language is going to change. You know, instead of saying peace and love, well, we know now because of this Gemini energy, peace. We're talking about a degree of 360. We're talking about a piece, a slice of something. When what we really need to be talking and speaking into each other in wholeness. You understand what I'm saying? The difference. We're not talking about just a fragment of something. We're talking about all 360 degrees of being a whole, because Gemini deals with the duality of things. You know what I'm saying? The yin and the yang, the light and the dark, and the twins working in unison. You feel me? This is the lover's card all day. Another prediction, if you will, that I've been, that this is a really beautiful time for divine couples. don't think there's going to be a overflow or an influx, but you're going to start divine couples coming together, um, people, two beings with the same soul who have been doing the work in other areas of their lives for who knows how long. You know what I mean? It could be a rekindling of that kind of energy as well. It might have already taken place for some of you. It might be taking place right now, or somewhere down the line a little bit, or up the line, however you want to word that, right? Because the language is going to mean everything right now. Please be my words. Please be mindful of your words. It's in the air. It's in the air. You know what I'm saying? Once it's out there, well, let's see what we got. The Hierophant, right? And Anise Star. How about it? Sage of Taurus and the Taurus here. Clearing the air helps us get clear with our intentions. Where do we point the bow and arrow? The reflection is the pulling back of the arrow, and then the release once we're clear to where the bullseye is, which is Taurus energy, right? The Hierophant. The Hierophant is the commitment that we make when pulling that bow and releasing it. But even more so, this is a card that represents really is to stay around with the Hierophant. If we take a closer look, the way it was for this deck was Hierophants or the High Priestess kind of energy, male or female High Priest or Priestess energy. Um, During this time, we were born into a society that was very commercial, very economically driven. Even our religious systems are tied to it. It really was a facade. Let's just put it that way. You know what I'm saying? It was all meant to control a population, whereas some of were born, let's just say, a little bit different. You know what I'm talking about? And because of your practices and your beliefs, you were called crazy. This is going to be the time where people really start to get the juice. You were not putting on that facade. You are really who you say you are. And you stood your ground on your own belief system, regardless of what they threw at you, regardless of how they tried to bind you or keep you locked away. You understand what I'm saying? You stay committed. Blessed are the faithful energy. And now it's time for that kind of energy to really, what now? You know what I mean? What is really important? What do I really want to commit my energy moving forward now that I know what's really real down here? And really, the only thing is the heart chakra. Let's just not play with it right now. You know what I'm saying? And it has a lot to do with being guided by what we would call faith, and having this faith turn into a knowing where there is no doubt anymore. We've seen way too much on the journey of being committed and going against the grain to lead anything in something greater than us. You know what I'm saying? Working in our favor. I don't know what it would be, your ancestors, your spirit guide. It could be any of those things. And bottom of the deck, look who pops out. Look at this shit right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Because this has a lot to do with our ancestors. The celebration is that we've got a couple that made it through the fold kind of energy. And the sacrifices that they had to make to get us here is also part of the celebration and the reverence that we give to those that came before us, even with our parents, our immediate parents, people that we knew in this lifetime, the sacrifice that they had to do, some of the dreams that they had to give up, or maybe didn't have the oomph to follow it. Because, like, everybody on my mom's side had the gift. I tell you, they all had the gift. My auntie Anna, Erlene, all of them. Ashe to Aunt Joan, my mom, my grandmother. My first mystery school was my grandmother's kitchen. Like, but with the way society is set up, you kind of have to hide that because of um, the witch hunt. still continues to this day, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much where they physically hang you now, but you will be ousted. You know, you can't get a job. Like your beliefs can really turn a crowd on you. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes against the grain. It makes folks uncomfortable. We don't want things to change, even if we do see that there is something wrong, terribly wrong. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that bishop on the feed the other day. He's like 80, 77, 80 years old, and he done married an 18-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And the congregation's all down for it. Nobody sees nothing wrong with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not there was a contract with it or not, or her daddy sold it, like we know what the game is now, and we are accountable for the things that we choose to support or not support. You understand what I'm saying? That congregation is just as guilty as him if they think that that shit is cool. You feel me? We have to really be mindful about where we place our energy um, forward, the things that we support and feed into, even after the information is present. Like, you know what I'm saying? You go ahead and buy a P. Diddy album right about now. You feel me? You're supporting that. You feel me? And everything that that stands for. So that's what this Hierophant here and that Lady of the Shrine is, that silent reverence and that communication again with the ancestors. So I know my have been lit. They are always lit, but right now, I mean, the the intensity of the messages, the just the visuals are so vivid now. You know what I mean? And the communication and what they are communicating coming through is very profound. So you might get the recipe from 1,000 years ago kind of shit come to you. You feel me? Your great 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 grandmother might have been the oracle of the village, and that stuff coming online now within you to finish off the story or rewrite the story. You know what I mean? So we're not looking at things that are tangible anymore. You can't prove it. You just have to live to understand it. And this is how you find your soul tribe of people who have walked the same path, maybe in a different perspective or a different lane. And again, the two divine beings coming together. Now, whether this is just within yourself and this extends outward, you know what I'm talking about? Whatever the case may be, but that masculine and feminine is going to be complementary again. That yin and that yang, that wholeness, okay, language again, going to is what really sets this whole thing off for some time. Understand? This kind of stone thrown into the pool of water is going to make a hell of a ripple. You feel me? So let's get three cards, and we're gonna look at these cards as a bit of medicine for the wave spell and for the uh, for the entrance of Jupiter coming into Gemini, which was like today or yesterday. I mean, we're in it right now, and a lot of you probably felt it. Like when you feel Gemini energy, it's very anxious, it's very quick, it's very witty, right? Makes you want to get up and do shit. We're talking very childlike energy. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be inside all day. You want to be out playing, kind of thing. You want to move. You feel what I'm saying? So the Gemini energy, if you've been feeling it, you've been kind of anxious. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing. It'll pass as we start to get more comfortable with this transit. And then, we got a couple planets following behind with Venus and Mercury going to bring it in too. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to have one hot ass summer. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you thought 2000 or wherever it was when 2013 and all that, I mean, we had some hot summers. The one in Georgia was hot. I mean, hot. You cook an egg on the top of a car, but this is going to be another um, summer segment. So hydration, especially if you're going to be running your mouth with this Gemini energy. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about communication, because we're not talking about the verbal. We're talking about the nonverbal as well. Body language. sign language, symbols. How does the divine, my guide, speak to me? Is it change on the ground? Is it finding feathers? You know, what is the language that that I use to communicate, to get my point across? How do we break the barriers of language? You notice that whole Tower of Babel thing, where the whole world was confused because nobody spoke the same language, kind of thing, and it makes it hard for us to relate. Where the differences that we have would be just so overshadowed by the things that make us similar. You feel what I'm saying? So here's a little bit more of that medicine. The King of Clubs, the Sun, and Rain. They ain't hearing. Okay, okay, okay. So let me get to clarified. The Moon card and Justice. Again, the balancing. You know, the energies. This is a time because okay, what this is talking about, what I'm getting off of this is the North Node in Aries. Your North, for me as an astrologer, is the first thing I look for in your chart. I don't look at anything else. Fuck your big three and where Venus is and who your soulmate might be. And when you go, I look at the North. The North Node is the same as your challenge in the Mind Oracle. These are the areas in which you came to learn something new about yourself. Um, this is where your curriculum circles around. So your big three play a part as like you know, you have your major, but these are the classes that you take to get that major. You understand what I'm saying? Welcome in, Brittany. She's hitting. They're all hitting different. Everything's hitting different. Communication is hitting different. The messages, you know what I'm saying? But uh, the North Node is also referred to as the dragon, or Rahu in astrology, and the mythology behind that is I forget, Shiva was given the divas or Saurians some goblet to drink, and he kind of stepped in the line to get that drink of immortality. And it was all by design, of course. And what Shiva did was threw this little sickle that cut the dragon in two, which became your North Node and your South, right. South Node is what you with already, like your degree. You know what I'm saying? This will be your first degree black belt, and you're now learning your second degree black belt in this life. It's not something that you have to leave behind. Wherever your South Node is, it will help you get to your North Node. Look at it as a gift and not a blessing or something to be left in the past. For example, my South Node is in Gemini, which is funny because now I got that sitting on top with Jupiter. So I'm going to get a lot of past energy coming out of this. You understand what I'm saying? But to make that more simple, you see what I'm doing here. I'm using my voice, I'm using communication in my 10th house, which is careers. You understand? To get to my North Node, which is in Cancer in the fourth house. I mean, I'm sorry, Sagittarius in the fourth house, which would be working from home. Duh, you know what I'm saying? That's how that works. Everything else is just another tool or classroom to help you step more into that role. That takes study of self. Right now, the North Node is having us look at our needs, our wants, where we you know, the lessons. This could be your book of life right here, where you're doing that review currently and saying, instead of taking things personal and thinking that things were working against you, yeah, these motherfuckers over here burnt candles on me. Oh, this motherfucker, you know, all that bullshit. We're studying ourselves in a very nurturing way, in a very calm and a very uh, graceful way with this. We're not looking at it as a detriment anymore, but we're taking the lessons from the prior chapters in order to forward into this new. So this review of the story of not just ourselves, but the people who came before. You know, this is like when you sit down with your grandmother or your mother, or father, and you get the jewels from their lives. What held them back? What started the cycles that, you know what I'm saying, we would consider family curses and things of that nature, and rooting that out. That's why rain dance is here. This is that cleansing of the bloodlines. The yellow sun is the last of the archetypes of the Mayan calendar. And this talks about the enlightenment from this study, the aha moments. Again, I kind of wish he was a baby here because this is more of the baby Buddha energy. This is when we're really coming to that rebirth. Yesterday was the red dragon, which is about the rebirth. So, I mean, the last 2, 3 days, you may have been feeling that energy, like really wonky, but it's more an excitement rather than the anxiety. You understand what I'm saying? Of things to come. And the things to come are really not being revealed at this time. We really have to step out there knowing that we are on the right path. You know what I'm saying? Things will be revealed as we walk this new part of the journey because it is unwritten, it is unexplored. How could you write something that hasn't been done yet? You know what I'm saying? You really got to walk. And again, this is more of that matriarch energy when we're talking about the moon. There's a lot you could take away from this moon card right now. And then the justice. Look at all that damn red. The justice. So this would be like if we're talking about the hero's journey, this is the part where, you know, the villain gets served at the end. You know what I mean? Or the injustice of what started the journey in the first place is rectified. Uh, Not only in our lives, but like I said before, from generations before. The more that you heal, the more that you learn, the more that you grow. You're doing the same for everybody that came before you. Like, let me say that again because I don't think that sinks in with a lot of folks. It sounds like a lot of responsibility, and goddamn it is. Who's going to be accountable? Are you going to wait and pass that on to your children? To their children or their children? Shit. By then, the planet might be toast the way we're going. You feel me? Um, the inheritance is like, what are we passing on at this time to make sure that moving forward, everything is in a balanced way as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? Being the example for our children. And also, please, honoring our elders that are still here. Like, it's mind blowing sometimes when I look around and I see how neglected our elders are. I don't know, it must be some stigma or whatever. These are storehouses of wisdom. I don't care if it's the uncle that got out of the jail or the auntie that had a successful business for 30 years. You know what I mean? The couple that's been married 80 years. You know what I mean? Can you imagine the story they have to tell? I bet you 9 out of 10 to get to be as successful as they are, had to go through a lot. Imagine the wisdom they can convey to you. You understand what I'm saying? And pass on. We're going to be in those places at some point. You know what I'm saying? We would want somebody to peek in on us at least to make sure. You know what I mean? Kneecaps ain't working the way they used to. You know what I'm saying? Back hurt, shit. Like, this is the time when it should really not only celebrated, but they should have that peace so that they're transitioning to the next world. You know what I'm saying? It, it's uh, it's it comes without the regrets. You understand what I'm saying? Of leaving things unfinished. So take it all the way back to the beginning because we're gonna do the little rewind here, and then we're gonna close this out on a very beautiful night. I might add, depending on where you are, and we can review some of these cards. And of course, if you have any questions in the chat or you please, like I know everybody has something to offer, and that's the point of being a collective. There's no one that serves as the one. We are all the one. You understand what I'm saying? What was I looking for? What was I just talking about? The white wind? God damn it. Channeling be something else these days. Let me see. Hold up. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, I think it was the white man. The communication, the listening, taking a breath, breathing will be very important. Breathing exercises will really benefit the whole season, not only of Gemini, but the whole year of having Jupiter. But the first 12 days is a good time to set. You know what I mean? One of my favorite artists just dropped the album, Ghostface. Just put an album out there talking about set the tone. I had a conversation tonight that said a couple of them actually that set the tone. It's really a good time to get that practicing, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Be open to having conversations. Be open to communication that comes from the other side. Look forward to that. You know what I'm saying? Look forward to that. Setting your intentions, new affirmations, reprogramming that subconscious through those affirmations, but clearing the air, moving forward. If you have any disagreements or long-standing grudges and things like that, this is the time to get that out the way. I'm telling you now, to really set the tone for yourself so you don't have to deal with that crap moving down the line. You know what I'm saying? You want to know where you stand with people, this is the time. If there's, but constantly, currently, this is the time to, it's one of those things where what's understood doesn't need time. Well, it goes a very long way when we sit down and we tell people that have helped influence us, we've grown up with, who have helped shape our lives, who have lent us a hand even when we were down, how much we appreciate and care for them at this, to really ensure that people know, they don't have to assume how much they mean to us in our lives. You understand how important those little gestures meant to us. You know what I'm saying? This is part of the inheritance. That gratitude and that acknowledgement, getting those flowers and giving those flowers. So keeping the spirit of that duality, of being accepting of not only your light and your dark, but other people's light and dark and where they come from, their story, as well as your story. We all have a story to tell, and we can all tell it in different ways. But that's also part of the legacy, so things don't get out of balance and unjust moving down the line. You know what I'm saying? This is when grandma has grandchildren sitting on the lap, kind of thing, as she cooks up a beautiful pot or whatever, and tells a great story about her great grandmother that that child will never meet in the physical world, and how beautiful they were, and the gifts and talents that they had, and why, you know what I'm saying, we have this because of this person and sacrifice and their efforts. You know what I'm saying? Really putting that family tree on blast. You know what I'm saying? Like all that. Because we're still in that Pluto kind of energy, which is talking about the ancestors. You know what I mean? We are the ancestors. Probing the mortar. Well, shh. Look, the heat is on. It's a literal and literal and metaphorical, because these conversations are going to reveal. We're going to hear more people speak about the injustices that they've had to experience. Just looking at Cassie and Diddy kind of thing, right? This is going to inspire more people to speak up. So you best believe people are going to be on the hot seat. You feel what I'm saying? For what they've done to other people in the name of control, greed, and power. Those kind of things, right? We're going to pull some cards on it, though. And then we're going to give a few eye shades and be on our way tonight. I appreciate everybody for coming in. Let's see here. Get you some water every night, and put a little something in that water, but program your water too. But back to that North Node too. This is a time to really dive in and explore yourself. You know, it's a very selfish energy when we're talking about Aries, but this is the pioneer blazer. With the the intention, but this is also the warrior, the spiritual warrior, if you will. And, but I say the pioneer, trailblazer. This is the fool card, something that hasn't been done. So this is exploring parts of yourself that either you didn't get a chance to, or something that you're discovering at this time about yourself, and doing that research. Oh, you got my nigga. Well, dive in. You know what I'm saying? You starting to pick up objects and seeing whole books of stories in your head. Well, psychometry is time. Really. Oh no, we go where you at? Like temperature here, we've been in the 90s and we're not even in the summer yet. Last summer was the hottest summer recorded down here. You know, bro, picked a great time to just pack his bags and get up in this bitch. But um, you gotta remember, we came into this world. It was kind of in place already. We had a certain dynamic going on, right? For example, the ice melting, right? We know water retains memory. Can you imagine what is going to come out of that ice? When it starts to melt, there it is, paprika, the heat is on. And this feels more like a cleansing kind of heat. If you remember your Bible verses, they said God said He wasn't going to do it with water no more. He was going to cleanse the earth with fire this time around. You know what I'm saying? AKA Kundalini energy. The more you come online, the more you in touch with not just Mother Earth but the cosmos. Like really thinking big, that kind of energy. Oh yeah, of course it's going to heat up. You know what I'm saying? That's a fire. That's a flame. And then the hanged woman or the woman in the case right here, that kind of rebirth of that creative energy. Maybe you're seeing it in a different way now, seeing yourself really in a different way. Bang, bang, bang. Global warming, it's such a blanket statement, you know what I'm saying? Because of pollution and fossil fuel, damn dinosaurs, like, come on, you know what I mean? So the dinosaurs died out. Eventually, we're gonna run out of fossil fuels, correct? You know what I mean? The same as you would like oily skin. That's not gonna. You feel me? Once you see through that perspective of as above, so below, the micro and the macro, it really makes sense, but in a very simple, practical way. I'm that one. Shay. Thing. Okay. And I'm gonna leave it right here. This is a good card to end with. This is like North Node as well, but rewriting the story, rewriting the story, being very connected. This is like the World Wide Web, but this is more about the collective. I sit down there at Jack, sell my art, right? And there's people from all over the world. Yesterday was a couple, Helen and Mike, bought a coloring book for their granddaughter, one of seven grandchildren, right? But you sit down and talk to people long enough, realize how much more you have in common than you don't. Speaking of politics, they have the same issue. They don't know whether to vote for Darth Sidious or Voldemort. I don't know if y'all seen that meme, but goddamn how accurate that is, right? Um, talking about how people start to be accountable and realize that they are the ones with the power, the collective, not the people we've elected or people who have bought their way in or however they got there. But it's with the people we become accountable and become responsible. We start controlling our own destiny again. We start rewriting the rules. We start living by those rules. You know what I'm saying? There's no double standards anymore. So this is really about expanding. This is that Jupiter energy here, expanding your reach. Um, like I said, expanding the conversations. Let's look beyond the surface because everything that glitters is not gold, right? You will meet some very interesting people if you allow yourself to look past what you're seeing, physical eye. It's not that surface shit anymore. We're going to the root of things, getting to the deity with these conversations. We're going to find out who people are. We're going to see people start to tell on themselves. You know what I'm saying? The body lie kind of language. So it's that collective energy, seeing that collective from a different circumstance, expressing with one another. The conversations are going to be bananas, I guarantee you. For the next year, especially, but like I said, for the next 12 days during this white wind wave spell, even if you don't file the glister free or you're not, just mark that the next 13 days, this white wind is going to assist us in starting those conversations or having more in-depth conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because right across from Gemini is Sagittarius, which is the higher education. So what we're really doing is going back to the basics with this. We're going back to where it all started. You know what I'm saying? Well, when I was a kid, this is where it first started for me. This is when I first started doing this and that, or this is when I started experiencing my first trauma, you know, and then this is where we start to come up with the creative solutions that Gemini offers as well. Social media, yeah, it's gonna be popping. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about the rest of you if you noticed, but there's been a lot of glitching lately, and there are no in the retrograde associated with Mercury. I mean, all kinds of random shit going on. Like, I started this live. This live stream was set for the 6th of March, May. I'm like, what? We in the 20s? You know what I'm saying? Like, those kind of errors are popping up everywhere. And that's because that lower frequency of electricity can't really function around that organic energy when it's online. You're gonna see people walking around like EMPs out this bitch. You know? When you walk into the room and the lights flicker and shit, that's what we're talking about. So this fire, this summer segment is more about a purifying energy. You know what I'm saying? And right now it'll be like purification through speech. Putting the fire under that ass. You feel me? Look, it's everywhere. I can't make it up. And this will be for a lot of us as well. These conversations that we had. Like I said, all last week was kind of the jump off. It kind of led into this. And I had conversations with most of my immediate family. And the way that I was talking, I noticed was a lot different than I did in the past. It was very measured. It was very to the point. No fluff. You know what I'm saying? But it was also gentle enough not to ruffle the feathers for somebody else to get caught up in. You know what I'm saying? It was very direct. It was very personalized. It was very present. So those are some key words you could put in your notebooks or whatever. It's really about being present now for these conversations and showing up. Okay? And with Reiki here, like, yeah, the symbols, the healing, it's all here. It's all here. You know what I mean? So for this white wind wave spell, and we're welcoming Jupiter on in, and all kinds of set. It's going to be a very interesting summer to say the least. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got. And just be mindful that this transformation is taking place as we speak, and it is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. So, take your time. Take your time. Enjoy it this time around. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy yourselves. The experience of yourself with that North Node in Aries. All right. And let Big Dog do what he do. You know what I'm saying? Let him do what he do. Something's falling away, let it fall away. You know what I mean? So, every I'm up here with him just away. We just in here like, yeah, well, doubt, there goes that fear, you know what I'm saying? Really a good time to face those fears and get back on that full journey, you know what I'm saying? Stuff unknown, you know, with a renewed sense of faith and a higher perspective of things. All right, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Is everybody good? You know what I mean? Everybody got a good meal in the day, place to sleep. People around you, support system. Do those check-ins. Make sure you're good. You know what I'm saying? Feeling very uncomfortable at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good time to get that motor running if you haven't been. It's a good time to express those fears. You know what I mean? And get that shit right up out of here. But also your dreams. You know what I mean? Anybody been having wild dreams out there? Nature been hitting a little bit different? Kind of animals you've been seeing or experiencing? Little queasy, feeling like you gotta throw up or you got, snot running out. Like it's all part of this cleansing process. But make sure you balance yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Don't overexert yourself. hmm I've been seeing all kinds of shit over there, boy. I'm telling you, yeah. The astral realm is definitely jumping. Definitely jumping. Mm-hmm. Health, how's everybody's health doing? Your head feels here and there. Okay. Okay. Maybe symptoms, but of course, second opinion does not hurt. It does not hurt. And with that white wind, like that breath came up, it's a good time to get some breathing. I know I need to if you've been shallow breathing lately or something like that, it's a good time to start opening those lungs up. Herbs you could use. Find herbs you can use for those lungs. Because we're talking about that air, you know what I mean? Getting that air in the lungs. Get you some mullein. You get some mullein extract. You could get just the root itself, put it in a tea, or you can get the extract and just put it in whatever, the little squeezy bottles. Help get all that stuff off those lungs and clear the air, you know what I mean? A nice little workout, little walk, get that sweat going, you know what I mean? Help the purification process. Cleaning, that feng shui is still hitting right about now energetically. A whole lot with baking soda the last 2 days for me. It was like baking soda, baking soda. So yeah, I use that in a lot of my cleaning. Not just my damn self, but the room and everything. And just listening to whatever comes to you because it's meant for you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that breath work. Try something new. You know what I mean? Because that's the space we're in anyway. Just try some new things and see how it works. You might just be the next one. You know what I'm saying? Come up with some stuff that really helps other people. And that's the only thing to be mindful of. Whatever you experienced in your life, as far as a challenge, um, you're expert. You're meant to do that so you can walk through it and, you know, help everybody else if you can. You know what I mean? But do not overextend your ass at this moment. You know what I mean? Really keep it locked in on self. Really keep it locked in. But keep in mind what I said about those divine couples coming together. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You know what I mean? Start seeing that. All right. All right, good people. Well, I'm gonna take it down. Get over here by this fan. My goodness. It's still hot. It's still a good 85, 86 degrees. But we had a little bit of rain kind of knock it out. You know what I'm saying? All right. Anybody want to give the serve, description box, all that. Thank you for hitting the like. Thank you for joining and commenting. And like I said, don't hesitate to say the things that need to be said. So in those words, I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for being here, a part of the collective. All the things that I've learned, all the things I've shared to make me better as a person. I appreciate you. Okay. All right, y'all. For the Hookah Lounge, my man Big Dog Pluto, aka Battle Trap. Let the old shit fall. Let the good times roll in. You know what I'm saying? And have fun building your legacy. Okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.